Routines. Routines are one of those things that I've always struggled with, and today I'm going to talk to you about how I'm going to fix this specific problem. But before I do, some of you might be wondering who the heck I am. My name is Elizabeth T. Rex. I am an aspiring fantasy fiction writer. For the past 10-15 years, I have been quietly writing to myself in a bunch of notebooks and digital files. No AI. Most of it's just pen and paper. Um, Mostly to entertain me. I wrote a lot of these stories without the intentions of sharing because it was a way for me to ignore the declining mental health that I was dealing with at the time of writing a lot of them. And because life kind of blew up in my face, as it does, I have finally reached a point where I am in a spot where all of my writing can be in one spot. And I've decided to sort through it mostly for nostalgia, but then as I got deeper into the process of reading through everything, I realized that it would be a shame if I didn't share it. Don't know what motivated me. It could be the fact that I was trying to ignore the life all falling down all around me. But I want to eventually share these projects with other people. But the first step was to sort through everything. Now that it's sorted, it's time to tackle all of the problems that I have noticed. And the very first problem we're tackling is routine. Routines are something I've never been good at. You can thank ADHD for that one. So before I start tackling the plan, I want to talk to you about unhealthy routines because the best way to figure out what is working and what doesn't is to understand where you went wrong the first few times. There are a lot of ways to set yourself up for an unhealthy routine. And it starts with routines that cause you to ignore your personal needs. And there's a bunch of different needs your brain needs in order to function. If you start taking those things away, your ability to create goes bye bye. It can't function. And it looks different for every single person. And I will tell you, I'm not a professional. This is all from my personal experience. If you are struggling with this and it's something you actively want to tackle, go get a therapist. Therapy has helped me so much. It's gotten me to where I'm good at analyzing what has gone wrong so that I can rewrite the plan later and keep on trucking. So if this is something you're dealing with, do not take my words to heart. Go talk to a therapist. Every situation is different and every brain is different. So, therapist. Cool. Now we've got that out the way. Unhealthy routines. These look different to everyone. I've experienced quite a few of them, and it starts with needs. If you are depriving your personal needs in order to make time for a specific hobby, it's not healthy. So, for example, if you are depriving yourself of nutrition, and I'm not talking about food in general, I'm talking about nutritious food. Food that has vitamins, it has protein, it has all the stuff your brain needs to function. And one of the things I've learned is if you are lacking nutrition, your brain's ability to focus and function at an optimal level, out the window. It's not going to help you. So nutrition is very important. It's probably the most important thing. The second thing is sleep. If you're dealing with an unregular sleep routine, especially if you have ADHD or brain health issues, it makes everything so much worse. I remember whenever I was in college and even after college, my sleep routine was all over the place. And it was a battle to fix it. And I fixed it now, but the problem is that if I deviate just a little bit, it's not very hard to knock me into an insomnia episode. And then I'll go days without sleeping at all, which is not good. So sleep, very important. Make sure you get it. And again, it looks different for everybody. So professionals, very insightful individuals. Social needs. If you are ignoring friends, family, if you aren't leaving your home in order to pursue the hobby, it's not a healthy routine. You need social interactions. One, it helps keep you inspired, even if it's a bad interaction. All interactions have a purpose. In the moment, you don't know that purpose, but they have a purpose. So go out, explore the world, make time for friends, make time for family. And it's different for everybody. Some people need less interactions versus others. I'm extroverted. If I'm not interacting with people, I get a little crazy. um, so social needs, very important. Exercise. Your body needs to be able to function at a somewhat normal. Normal is different for everybody. But if you're not actively going outside, if you're not actively trying to work out or just have a moment where your body is moving and you're able to just process the world around you, it changes things. I go for walks every now and again, even around the neighborhood. And just that 10 minutes outside, it makes such a big difference. It gives me time to let my brain wander, and oftentimes, when I get into that state where I'm kind of spacey and I'm looking around, I get my best ideas. At least for me, it feels like my best ideas. But I find that I tend to kick into that creative routine whenever I'm actually going outside and engaging with the world. But those are the four things I found that kind of affect healthy routines and not healthy routines. So let's get into how we're tackling the problem. So I have looked back on all of the different things I have attempted to build a better routine. And the very first thing I've noticed is the way I keep track of what I need to do matters. Planners, they don't work because as soon as I put it on my shelf, I will forget about it and object permanence kicks in and that thing doesn't exist anymore. Same thing with digital planners. If it's out of sight, I will forget that it exists. It happens with a lot of things. I have to put my keys in a very specific spot because if they're not in that spot, I'll never find them. I have learned that in order to have my tasks, it needs to be in my face. It needs to be in a spot that I see and I am compelled to look at because I happen to be in the area. That has evolved to the board behind me. I see this board every day. I have to walk into this room almost every day, and it is in my face. All the colors mean something very specific. You can't read them right now because it's probably a little too blurry, but having something I'm physically looking at every day because I'm already in that spot, it helps. Another thing that I'm doing is my fridge has a planner page with all of the tasks I need to do that day, and it's like a week, a week long planner page. And I make coffee every morning, so that is something that my eyes are just drawn to because it's on the fridge. I have to open the fridge door in order to see it. Switching to that has helped tremendously because now, whenever I get up in the morning and I'm casually waiting for the Keurig to finish, I'm looking at this and going, "Oh, okay, I need to make this video today, or I need to go do this thing today." Very helpful. Another thing is I have to have a way where I am tracking my progress. For me, I know a lot of writers they do word count, but it doesn't work for me. I have found that if I um, put weight into word count, my writing quality often suffers and my pace slows down. Don't know why. There's probably a therapist that could probably explain to you why, but it doesn't work. So last year, I have switched to time and task, and that has helped me so much more. I find that I tend to be more productive when I take away the pressure of having a specific word count. So that's how I started to track stuff, but that's not the only way that I track things. I have learned that I need to be able to physically see my progress. If I can't see the progress, my momentum slows down. And then that's when the unhealthy routines kind of kick in and we start running into problems. And we're trying to avoid problems. So one of the things I started doing is I actually have this jar, which I'll grab it. It's full of all the tasks I have completed. I plan on keeping this up for a year, until December. Now you'll notice this jar is very tiny. It will get bigger as time goes on. At least I hope. But being able to drop that slip of paper in that jar, it's kind of like a visual representation of all the work that I put into something, and that has helped. Something about being able to drop that scrap of paper. Actually, I think I'm due to drop a scrap of paper in there. But being able to drop that scrap of paper in, something about it gets the dopamine rolling and it makes me want to keep going. Who would have figured? On to the third way that I plan to do this. In the past, I tend to make my goals too big and I start running into this routine with as much energy and effort that I can possibly do. When you're picking up a hobby, especially be it new or old, you need to start small. You have to think of it like a muscle. If you start working out for the first time, you can't do those intense exercises right away because you'll often end up burning yourself out or hurting yourself. You have to do the build up to get to those intense workouts, usually with the help of a professional. But for writing, I tend to overwork myself and then I get really burnt out on the writing front or on the creative side and it will cause me to not touch it for like weeks at a time. Sometimes months depending on how bad it is. So I have come up with a new plan. I have come up with these 5-day writing challenges and they're going to progressively get harder as time goes on. But the plan is the first one, it will be just the simple goal of trying to write every single day for 5 days. That's the goal. That's it. That's just the first level. And as I complete each one, I will increase it by 15-minute increments. So if I complete this first challenge, then the next one will be 15 minutes. If I complete that one, then it'll be 30 minutes, and so on and so on. Now, I just started this, so I don't have any feedback for you, but so far, I have noticed that by taking the pressure off of those heavier writing times, I tend to be more willing to come back to it because I'm not exhausted. Can I help you? Why did you bite my foot? So I have a cat down at my foot. But 5-day writing challenges. That's how I plan on tackling the routine thing. Now, my end goal is I want to get to the point where I'm averaging about 2 hours of writing a day with these. Can I help you? Rude. She's just out here attacking my foot. Now, my end goal with this is I want to be able to average about 2 hours of writing time a day during these 5-day challenges. But in order for me to get there, we have to start small. Now, I will track progress just because it says in the routine that I have to write maybe 15 minutes. I can do more if my brain's willing to do more that day. But taking the pressure away has helped. It's probably the ADHD, but I've noticed I'm more productive by doing it this manner. So hopefully it sticks. If not, we'll rewrite the plan. But that is how I'm planning to tackle the routine problem. You're welcome to follow along with me. I plan on doing shorts along the way just to kind of hold myself accountable to some of these goals. So you'll know when I'm taking them on because you'll see a short pop up. But that's all the time I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video of me ranting about bad routines and my plan on how to fix it, make sure to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And in the comments, tell me the worst mistake you've done when trying to build your routine. My name is Lily T Rex, and I will see you in the next video.